Speaking freedom, giving you the answers to be free.
We use the client to develop, to grow, and to bring out the best in themselves. We are simply a tool to help you learn how to make better decisions. Not just one decision, not just today, but for the rest of your life. Encouraging each person through each trial and tribulation.
Work call. Yeah, man. Gotta go in here and dance, but I don't get tired.
So, part 3, because I realized that in the other video, I started talking about things and I would stop. So, I mentioned that how I think I stopped because it turned from talking about being vulnerable, or going from being vulnerable when I was in that church mindset to when in the atmosphere of dating online and things like that. I met a guy once and he was trying to basically convince me that well, I ain't gonna say he was trying to convince me. He was trying to use the Bible to manipulate me. So we talked maybe for a day or two before I was like, oh, nope. But anyways, during our conversation, at one point he asked me if I loved him, and I was like, no. Like, nigga, I don't know you. How could I possibly love you? And then his response was, well, in the Bible it say that you're supposed to love everybody, so you should tell me you love me. And I'm like, nigga, first off, this is the last day I talked to him, by the way. First off, the Bible don't say to tell a man who's interested in you that you love him in a way in which he's trying to use it to manipulate you to tell him you love him. I do love every person as a human being. However, I don't love a person that is trying to date me in the sense in which he would be trying to tell him that I love him. Like, that's not going. But I'm gonna be honest with you. There's a time when I was a little more trusting and a little more absent-minded that I would have definitely been like, yeah, I love you. I know the Bible say that. Of course I love you like the Bible say I'm supposed to love you. And I would have went for what he was doing, because there is the possibility, and it happens, where a person is saying that and you don't think nothing of it, because you're not thinking that that person is trying to use the Bible to manipulate you. You're thinking, oh, it's cute, he's trying to tell me the Bible. In real, he's trying to get you to convince yourself that you love him or that you can trust him. So when I tell you that people use the Bible in the name of Jesus and all of those things that they hear, the same way that the algorithm picks up, they using those things to manipulate people. It's a real thing. And if you are a Christian, that doesn't mean that you believe that everybody that say that they a man of God are a man of God. But you're not supposed to technically question somebody who calls themselves a man of God. You're supposed to believe that man of God and trust that he is hearing from God on your behalf. Regardless if he actually prayed for you, regardless if he actually care about you, you are supposed to listen to your pastor above everything else. Basically, that's the way a lot of leadership is taught. Especially when it comes to the Bible and all those things. You can't ask them nothing or nothing, you know what I'm saying? But the whole situation with the young man, it is a little alarming, especially when we have great examples of predators and children falling victim, or young people in general falling victim to people that mean them no good. I mean, there is a young man on my line right now tell him yesterday, not right now, this very moment, but yeah, if I hit him back right now, he gonna be, you know what I'm saying, he with it. It's a 27-year-old young man, and I'm 43. So the other day I mentioned being in the military because I had baked the cake. And so he had hit me up. I'm not a rude person, so I've already told him that he's too young for me and that, you know, I'm not interested. But periodically, he still text messaging me. I am not a person that's going to block for somebody for just to be blocking them. Like, I'm not that bougie or whatever. He periodically texts me, and he's like, we met in traffic, right? So if you know how I drive, you know I don't drive like the average woman. And so we met in traffic, and it was cool or whatever. But as soon as I found out that he was 27, I was like, nigga, I am way too motherfucking old to even entertain you. Which is what I told him again yesterday. But he's like, let's FaceTime. He asked me about me I told him I was in the Army or whatever, or I hadn't baked since I got out the Army. He asked me how long I've been out the Army. I said, man, how old are you? I've been out the Army for 22 years, so since you was 5, my nigga. Like, and I tried to say things like that because it is the best way for me to tell him, hey, I'm extremely too old for you, and I am not interested. So then after that, he's like, well, let me show you I'm grown. I make my own money. I live on my own. Nigga, I don't care. It's the principle. Because let a 40-something-year-old woman come to my goddamn house with my 20-something-year-old son, and we fighting. I'm going to be honest with you. I don't care how old I am, bitch. We fighting. Okay, so in 10 years, if he bring home a 40-something-year-old, I'm going to be going to jail because I'm fighting her ass, okay? Because, bitch, why is you entertaining my son? I don't give a fuck how grown he is, how mature he seemed. Don't do that. And that's what I told him. Like, it's the principle. It ain't got nothing to do with you. You could be a good guy. He like, I'm used to date. I don't give a fuck who you used to dating. I'm not dating you, okay? So, but there are a lot of women that would be like, ooh, yeah, I'll date you. I'll take your little money and take advantage of them. But I'm not that person. I refuse to be that person. So I'm here to get my daughter now, and I have to go because I don't think that I am going to pause and start back up again. But the and everything that I was saying, people will manipulate you if you think that you can handle whatever it is they dishing out. You might not even realize that they manipulating you when they do it, and they might not even intentionally. Sometimes manipulation isn't intentional. It's learned. They only saying to you what somebody done said to them, and that's all they know. So they just, all right, gotta go. Okay, so I'm gonna do my last little video clip about Pastor McNutt. That name is just crazy. I'm not gonna ever get over that. Because the internet aunties and uncles is gonna do their due diligence, baby. They don't investigate. They done found the man's background with other arrests, although they were all like traffic or indiscretion. It wasn't that serious, let's say that. And then a lot of people have been reporting, but I wanted to talk about, so he had other videos, right? So there was the apology live video, but then there were other videos, a video where he talked about, the video is saying, I'm guilty. And in the video, it's like an hour-long video. I know, look, I do long videos too, but this guy did an hour-long video saying that he was guilty. So I didn't listen to the entire video, but I did like skim through it, go through little different areas to see, like, is he just like, what is he talking about? But overall, I mentioned before that it reminds me of R. Kelly and Bill Cosby, Harry, what's that boy, that man name, the old white guy, Wines Fit, I don't know, I can't remember his name, but it reminds me of people like Bishop Eddie Long, and those people who have done things to people, and low key they tell on themselves, right? Like R. Kelly made that song, or made the series Trapped in a Closet. And then it was a lot of different songs that if you go back and listen to some of R. Kelly's songs, you could hear him crying out for help, right? In a way. And so, yeah, the video was kind of weird. And then he did another video about apologizing for the video of making a young man apologize, because everybody been like, he's cut his comments off on his page. He has like really, like, you know, like it has become a big thing since yesterday was the first day I saw it, but then somebody else, like on Facebook in particular, when you kind of tap on one thing, the algorithm just keeps giving you more things like what you tapped on. So now I'm seeing all the insights, and there are several videos of him on YouTube from like 8 or 9 years ago talking about incest and sexual issue. Like he had about 4 or 5 videos about sex and incest and sexual demons and stuff like that. So it's really unfortunate, really, honestly, to even think about how that man could be using, allegedly, the church to lure in young men. Because what I noticed when I was on his Facebook page is that he allows young boys to come over to his house for the weekend. And like I said yesterday in the video that I did, a lot of times people, for women, they want their young men, their sons, to have a male figure, like a positive black male role model, really. And so if you are a predator, if you are somebody who is looking to take advantage of, or a pedophile, then it is easy for you to get in good with the mom or the parent and present yourself as a good role model and really be having some ill stuff going on. So if we see a pattern of behavior, then that pattern of behavior is very telling. So grooming does not always happen on a one-on-one basis. Sometimes grooming happens around family, around events. It's the little things that a person does, even in a crowd, that makes you feel like it's okay. It's like sneaking and giving you a little kiss, or touching your leg the right way. It's always 9 times out of 10, when a person is trying to groom a child, it is always them doing things and even talking to them in front of other people that makes them feel the relationship is okay. And then from there, they get that child comfortable. And when that child get comfortable, that's when you start to see other things going on, like where they warm up to the child a little bit more. Listen, in my years growing up as a little girl, I had a lot of adult men try to make me their little girlfriend. There was a lot of guys, older men, older than me. So I am 43 now, but I can say that from the time that I was probably 7 or 8, maybe even younger than that, when older guys or men would start commenting on my body. I was probably about definitely 7, 8, or 9 the first time a older cousin tried to rub my leg and told me I was teasing him or something that was crazy. Like, and I know how old I was based on where we lived at the time. So at the time, we were still living in Westwood, and so and my brother, it was before my brother went to prison and all of that, and so it was kind of crazy because our house has always been the house that people would come to, like, because my mama worked night shifts, like everybody would always hang out at our house. And so that was one of the first times that somebody told me that I was teasing them. And after that, you know, even though I would be nice to the guys or the men that were making advances, like I described in the video yesterday, a lot of times being nice after somebody assaults you is a survival instinct because, one, if nobody believes you, if nobody will listen to you, and if you have to be around that person, you have to do what you can to protect yourself. So in normal circumstances, you try not to be left alone with the person so that nothing happens, but you also sometimes don't have a choice but to be around the person. I remember spending the night over friend's house. Y'all know I lived with a lot of my friends, but before I started living with friends, I would go and spend the night over people's house. And my mama just used to always let me. And so I remember going to one set of friends' house, and the one girl had a brother. She had a couple siblings. Mom used to drink a lot, so she used to just be out of it. But and they used to, her mom and ex-husband used to have a whole lot of domestic stuff going on. Nonetheless, they had an older son. And I remember spending the night over their house, and the son would come in at night and try to do whatever he could. But this is when I was really young. This is how I learned to protect myself. I would I would cross my ankles, and then if somebody would try to pry my legs open, I would just lock my ankles. Like, I would flex my ankles, like, lock tight. And so it was never easy for me to get molested in that situation, because I would literally lock my ankles and like tighten up so that you couldn't spread my legs. And I'm not saying this for any other reason other than to bring awareness of how things happen and how you get groomed and how you come to be okay with certain things as you get older. Because a lot of people think that people just be turned out when they get in high school, and some people do, but a lot of times you've been tried and or had a lot of times before somebody just be like, I might as well just, use what I got to get what I want type thing. And it's not just for women. Men go through stuff too, and sometimes that's why men be hypersexual, because they've been exposed to things at a young age. And most people don't find the balance. Most people just embrace whatever it is that they've been exposed to. And so it is sad to see from the outside looking in, but from knowing the position of being around people who have tried to assault you in some type of way or tried to take advantage of you sexually, and then still they still be family, or they still be friends of the family, and you still got to be around them, and you still got to make nice. And a lot of times in families, and with Pastor McNutt and the cousin boy's mama, the boy's mama is the pastor's, supposed to be the pastor's cousin, but they got the boy calling the cousin dad. So that's why I look kind of confused, but if I'm being honest, if they are actually related, this is something that the cousin may be have dealt with. Like normally sexual abuse in families, it does not start with just one person. When somebody is perverted, it's not normally because they just got perverted some way. People don't just get addicted to porn. A lot of times when people choose alternative lifestyles, not always, but a lot of times when people choose alternative lifestyles, it's really because they're just embracing an experience they had, whether they were old enough to recognize what was going on or not. A lot of times I would say it's a spirit, but not like a religious type thing, but it is. Once that get on you, once you get exposed to certain things, it's kind of hard to draw back, and it just ignites something within you. So it is, again, when you're dealing with family and when it comes to sexual misconduct or inappropriateness of any kind, normally inside of families, especially in the Black community, it gets written off or swept up under the rug, or, just, don't say nothing, or people know and they don't say it out loud. They just don't take their kids over there. So they'll sacrifice somebody else's kid being in a bad situation. But for themselves, they try to protect theirs, when I feel like protect all kids. You know what I'm saying? Like, I am looking at everybody. I am looking out for everybody and looking at everybody to see, okay, who's trustworthy. And you could tell by the way they deal with children. And again, if you've been sexually assaulted before, then you know the signs better than somebody who has never experienced before. Now, this is the caveat, because sometimes being sexually assaulted makes you hyper vigilant when it comes to sexual things. So sometimes maybe nothing has happened, but we're always going to err on a side of caution and protection for children, especially. But for all, because nobody should be sexually assaulted. Not a man, not a woman, not a boy, not a girl, not a child. Nobody. Not a prisoner, not nothing. But a lot of this stuff comes from, I hate to say it because it seemed like everything go back to slavery, but a lot of it does come from slavery. The buck breaking, the taking of women, and it was a lot of stuff that went on that was saw or seen that people replicated. They just did what they saw, and then they just did what they saw. And so now we are shifting to where it's more people like, I'm not doing that. I saw what the result of that was, so I won't do that to my children. But the fact of the matter is, everybody's not like that. Everybody's not, doesn't want change. They don't see a difference. And a lot of that, I think, is because people aren't exposed to something. So it's like, if you've only been in one city your whole life, then you think every city outside of that city is like your city. Or you think, if you've only experienced one thing, you don't realize this is a whole new world outside of where you at. You know what I'm saying? So it's a lot when you're dealing with things like this, because one, everybody's reporting and everybody's on the outside looking in, and it could be innocent, but the way that it comes off, it doesn't look innocent. And so presentation matters, behavior patterns matter. I'm gonna go and watch some of those videos to see what he was talking about, but I don't want to get caught up in this, because I will keep doing videos and get consumed with it. So this will probably be my last video about the situation, and I am going to monitor and see what happens and report back, maybe, if something comes of this. But I am actually happy in the season that we're in, where things are getting reported, where things are not being missed. That the Epstein files, I think, is going to wake a lot of people up to the reality of the world we live in. But until next time, bye.
I decided long ago never to walk in anyone's shadow. If I fail, if I succeed, at least I live what I believe. No matter what they take from me, they can't take away my dignity. Because the greatest love of all inside of me is sexual chocolate.
Thank you for joining Speaking Freedom as we continue to assist you with your daily growth and intuitive wisdom. Loving is a lifestyle and we love to love. Inspiration is how we fuel faith. Please join us daily for your inspiration and motivation.
We have the entire world to offer you at your fingertips. Your life enhancement coaching specialist. Thank you for choosing us to assist you in accomplishing your personal and professional goals. And have a beautiful day. In love, we trust. This is brought to you by Good Head Group, Love Gang, and Speaking Freedom. We thank God for you, and we love